In this video, we are going to talk about a question that I get asked all the time. Do you need a license to wholesale real estate? Hey guys, welcome back to the David Dodd Show. In this video, we are going to talk about a question that I get asked all the time. Do you need a license to wholesale real estate? Do you need a license to wholesale real estate? It's literally one of the number one questions that I get from new investors. And the answer to that question is no. However, having a license isn't going to hurt you. That's the answer. So let's start with the basics here. Do I need a license to wholesale real estate? No, you do not, because whenever you are wholesaling real estate, now, the only catch is there are certain states, Illinois being one of them, that will not let you do more than one or two wholesale deals in a year. They require you to be licensed. But in all the other states, I think that's the only place in the country right now. So basically in 48 or 49 other states, including Missouri, where I live, you do not need a license to wholesale real estate. Here is why. When you are wholesaling real estate, you are not acting as a broker, right? You are not trying to act as an agent, right? There are no agency agreements that are signed between you and a seller or you and a buyer. Instead, you are acting as the principal in the transaction. So what that means is that you are actually sending somebody a contract to purchase a piece of property, or you are sending somebody a contract to sell a piece of property, right? And when you are selling your contract, you are basically sending somebody a contract to purchase your contract. Either way, you are acting as the principal. When you are wholesaling, you are acting as the buyer for a motivated seller, and you are acting as a seller to a cash buyer. So there is no agency, there is no brokerage that is needed, right? You're not representing anybody. Instead, you are acting as a buyer or acting as a seller. So that is why the first part of this question, the answer is no, right? Do you need a license to wholesale real estate? Again, the answer is no. Now, however, there are certain states that will not let you do more or less than a few transactions without being licensed. Again, I know Illinois is one of those states. So check with your local laws. Usually it's going to be state by state to see if there are any sort of licenses or licensing needed to become a wholesaler in that area. Essentially right now, as far as I know, 48 or 49 states don't require it. Now, I had also said in the beginning, do you need a license to wholesale real estate? And I said no. However, it's not going to hurt you to be licensed. I really want to dive into that for a second. So I am personally not licensed, and I've wholesaled over 600 houses in the last 6, maybe 7 years. Wholesaling houses is incredibly simple. All right, it is incredibly simple. So you do not need a license. However, if you are a licensed real estate agent or a licensed real estate broker, all right, by getting your license, you are going to be taught. You're going to have to go through some education, and you're going to be taught a lot of stuff about real estate. Again, that education isn't a bad thing. So when I say no, you don't need a license, however, it's not going to hurt you, this is what I mean. By getting your license or your brokerage, right, you can become a salesperson and get a license to be an agent, or you can become a broker and get a license to do that. By getting those, you're going to have to put yourself into an educational process that you are going to learn some stuff. And when is that ever a bad thing? Also, by becoming an agent, you have the ability, doesn't come for free, you're going to have to pay for this monthly or annually, but it's going to give you the ability to have access to your local MLS. And the MLS is the place where all the agents go to list their properties, and it's also the place where They're able to pull that data down and send that information to all of the agents or brokers that are dealing with the buyers. And it's basically kind of like a social network where agents and brokers have access to it, but everybody else does not. And they do that for a specific reason, or a particular number of reasons. One is they want to be able to have agent remarks in areas where the agents can leave notes that the general public may not see. Also, there's phone number information and email information and contact information. There might be lockbox codes that the public, shouldn't necessarily have. And there's additional information, and it's really just for the safety of everybody included, right? You don't want it to be a free-for-all when somebody puts their house up for sale, that anybody and everybody can just go create a time to go view it and schedule it and go. That doesn't work that way. You have to have an agent create, showing times, and then whenever those showing times are created or are booked, the agent and the seller of that property are notified so they can then make sure they're not there when that showing takes place. Again, there's a lot of reasons for safety, but you as the investor, do you need a license to wholesale real estate? No, you do not. But if you go get a license, you are going to have education and you are going to have access to that local MLS. And those two things are going to make you a better investor and or a better wholesaler, right? So you don't need it, but I would highly encourage you to look into it and eventually get it. I don't have it because my partner is a broker and he handles all that for me. But I have taken the test twice and passed it twice. I just never actually applied to get my license. So the education check and the access I can get through my partner. So I get to check both those boxes. But if you are new at this, right, you don't need a license to get started. In fact, head on over to freewholesalecourse.com and you can learn how to get started step by step for free. But if you are considering getting your license at any point in time, I would encourage you to do so because it's going to educate you on the process and it's going to give you access to that local MLS. Now, can you get MLS access from other places without being an agent? Yes, you can. PropStream is one of those places. I believe Batch Leads also as well now. And these are great tools that you can use to access the MLS. However, they're not going to give you all the exact same information. They're going to redact or remove some of that information that these conglomerate companies are able to pull. Because again, it's for the safety of the people involved. It's for the safety of the seller. It's for the safety of the buyer. It's for the safety of the homeowner and, just stuff like that, right? So again, this is one of those questions where, the answer is no, but there's a however attached to it. So you absolutely do not need your license to wholesale real estate. Now, there is one caveat. There are certain areas in the country, like Illinois, for example, that requires you to be licensed in order to do more than one or two real estate transactions in a year. So if you live in one of these states or these areas, and again, as of this recording of this video, Illinois is the only place that I'm aware of that is like this. So if you live in that state, the question changes, or the answer, I should say, changes to depends how many deals you're wanting to do. Then you may or may not need that license. But for the majority of us, you do not need a license. Again, check with your local state to see if it's required. But I do encourage you to get it, or at least look into the education that goes along with getting a license, because any type of education that is going to help you understand a little bit better how real estate transactions work and the role of agents and the role of brokers and the role of systemized, standardized contracts, how these things can be helpful to you and be of service to you. So to recap, guys, head on over to freewholesalecourse.com. Check out that free course. Learn step by step how to wholesale real estate. And to answer the question one more time, do you need a license to wholesale real estate? The answer is no. However, it is recommended. And again, check with your local city or state to see if there are any types of laws that have put in place to limit the number of transactions that an unlicensed individual can do in a year. And that's it. Signing off, guys. Until next time.